All right, welcome back to Jonesycast. I'm Jonesy. This is the cast. Hey, essentially what I do is go through Reddit subreddits like relationship advice, relationships, ask men, all that stuff, and do video responses. Please like and subscribe if you would like to like and subscribe. If you don't, that's cool too. Hey, we're in r/relationships posted by other_jump_6321 just now. Broke up with boyfriend, now he won't stop crying. Hey, so now I'm not going to read the whole post verbatim. So if you want the context, I'm going to put the link in the description. This video is pretty much for the OP. So you've split with your boyfriend of a year due to COVID. Things moved very quick and he moved into my house around 9 months ago. I broke up with him a week ago and we agreed on him staying until the end of the month to save money and sort of place out. Over the past week, he hasn't stopped crying. I try to talk about the practical things of him moving, but he just gets upset and shuts down or gets annoyed. He hasn't told any family that we have broken up and he will need to stay with them. He doesn't really have any friends as they kind of drifted off, so we can't speak to them either. How can I... Now, it says down here, I feel like he's pulling on my heartstrings and I just don't know how to be around him. I'm concerned he might hurt himself as he has mentioned stuff before in arguments, and I feel the need every day to check he's okay. Well, this seems pretty toxic, but look, it's to be expected. I don't necessarily think he's a bad guy. I just think he's a guy that doesn't know how to handle what is now in front of him. In a sense, it's not your problem, but it is your problem. And it's not just because it's your problem practically and logistically. It's because you are the person that broke up with him. But I don't think you should feel bad for that. I mean, people make decisions, right? And there are consequences. If you've tried your best to be a good girlfriend, and he's not giving you what you need or want. And look, if you feel that you're at the place where you needed to break up with him and that was the right decision, well, then here we are, I think what he's doing you said here that I try to talk about practical things of him moving, but he just gets upset and shuts down or gets annoyed. Some of that comes from the fact that he doesn't want to have to face. And look, you already said that, because when I asked him why he's staying here as it's painful for both of us, he said he doesn't want to let go of hope and is heartbroken. Look, on a practical note, if I was in your position, I would tell someone else. If you've got links to his family that are trustworthy, maybe think about telling them. But, it might be better for you to wait for him to tell them. But if he just refuses to do it, at some point you're going to have to do it, right? What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to set a date inside your mind where if he stays past this date, you are going to escalate things. I wouldn't advise calling the police right away because things can escalate very, very quickly. And there's a whole lot of shame associated there with, the cops might want to get him with an, what's it called? Order of protection, or where I live, it's called a AVO, aggravated violence order. But it's not really necessary here unless it becomes necessary. But I would set yourself in your mind and in your heart that this was the right decision. Okay? That's the first thing you need to do. You need to ask yourself the question, not tell yourself that it was. You need to ask yourself the question first, was this the right decision? Because if it was, then there's no going back. There's no second chances. There's no reload game. This is the decision and you need to stick by it. Okay. Having said that, you've mentioned that he has anger issues. So one of the reasons I would tell someone about this situation, let's just explain all this, is because of your safety. I don't necessarily think that he will hurt you, but I have seen what men can do when they're backed into a corner. Okay. Is he working? Over the past week, he's also crying. I can't see anywhere that it says he's working, but if he's not working, that's not good. If he is working, that is good because it gives him something to do. It gives him something to wake up in the morning for, right? But if he's not working and he's just got you and he's losing his friends, it's going to be even harder. But if this was the right decision, you stick by your decision and you don't let the whims of fancy and you don't let passing emotions change your mind. And look, he's going to make all the promises that will get him out of this situation. And you have to choose whether or not you are willing to accept those promises. If you do, and that's fine if you do. I mean, you do you, girl, you know. But if you're willing to accept those promises, you need to keep him to those promises. You need to hold him to them. And when he breaks his word consciously, we're done. But if he breaks his word unconsciously, sometimes people make mistakes, then you have a conversation. But again, that's only if you are willing to take the promises that he gives you to get himself out of the situation that he's in. I mean, at some point you may have to involve other people, whether it's a set of removalists, just in a practical sense. You're going to have to involve your parents, maybe his parents, maybe his friends, if they're willing to help him out of the situation. But you need to set a date after which you start escalating things to the family or the friends. If that doesn't work and no one can get him out, then the police. I mean, I don't like going there, but you got to go there. But wait for that. I mean, how can I handle this without being a horrible person? The question is whether or not you already are a horrible person. Because if a father or mother disciplines their child, they feel like a horrible person. Or they don't, because they understand that discipline is necessary. Don't go too far on the discipline, but discipline is necessary. If I don't have kids, but when I get them and I discipline them to the level that I think is appropriate, minimal necessary force, I'm not going to feel like a bad person because I understand the necessity of it. Now, you have to understand the necessity of this breakup, the necessity of him moving out, the necessity of you moving on, the necessity of you opening up yourself to, first of all, yourself and then someone else in the future, right? Once you understand all those things and their necessity, it won't be so hard to start moving in this direction of him moving out, because you will have, like, Friedrich Nietzsche had a saying, had a quote that is, a man who has a why can bear any how. And that goes for women as well. A woman that has a why can bear any how. As soon as you understand why this needs to happen, the rest is just logistics and time, right? And so, I mean, you need to have a conversation with yourself and decide whether or not this is the right move. If it is the right move, it's just a matter of time. And then if he doesn't move out, again, you need to set a barrier, because guilt doesn't help anyone. You being nice to him doesn't help anyone, much less him, because it means he gets to get away with his behavior and not change. Whereas what you've done in breaking up with him is saying that you were not good enough. You didn't change. And don't take that the wrong way. I'm not saying that you're a horrible person because you said to him that he wasn't good enough. I've been broken up with before because I wasn't good enough. I needed to hear that. I needed to be told that. I needed to see that. I needed to feel it, the rejection, right? In the right context. And hopefully have people around me that can help me understand being broken up with because I wasn't enough of a man, you know, not in the sense of, oh, I wasn't masculine enough, but if this guy hasn't taken responsibility for himself, if he's always burdening you, then that's not good, you know, and it's no wonder you broke up with him. Now, on the last issue, I'm concerned he might hurt himself as he has mentioned stuff before in arguments, and I feel the need every day to check he is okay. How can I handle this? Ring your local police station. Don't mention any names, and find out what the best avenues are to go down to see if there's any mental health care for men in your area or him in your area. If you live in a country with welfare healthcare, socialized healthcare, you can maybe get a doctor's appointment and a psychological appointment for free. You can present that to him. And I mean, look, if he's just going to sit there and piss and moan all day, given the fact that you've broken up with him and he's not taking your help, not taking anyone's help, and he's just being recalcitrant and a bit of a dick, you can just say to him, look, I understand. And then if he uses this suicidal ideation as a weapon against you, you could say, yeah, okay, well, here's a psychologist, go talk to them. Because I will not be guilted into anything for which I don't feel guilty, right? If I make a mistake and I feel guilty and someone says, you fucked up, I'll go, all right, I did. Tell me how to fix this. But if they're just using guilt against me, no dice. Absolutely no dice. You can go and jump out your own. I mean, I don't mean that literally, but I mean, you can jog on. You can jog on, right? So first ring the police station. The second thing is ring social services in your areas. Ask about men's health in your area. Ask about things like that. I mean, one of the reasons I say that is because you need to put the phone number in his hand, the ball in his court, because the second rule of counseling after don't give any advice, and this is not counseling, this is some just dude on the internet. The second rule is don't care more for someone's issue than they care for it. Okay. Because he needs to care for himself and want to get himself out of this rut that he's found himself in. And look, be the best person you can be the best woman you can be the best ex-girlfriend you can be. And everything after that is gravy because you've done what you can. Okay. Look, I hope this video helps and I wish you all the best. Good luck.